Child, what was Michael doing at Diddy's freak-off party? Of course, we don't expect the internet to go cold on this, especially at this time of Diddy's allegation. The internet has obviously been heating up for minutes now, as there are some crazy rumors that Michael was at Diddy's party for some freak-offs. And for the fact that Michael also had his own scandal on the internet before he passed has got some folks speculating he was involved in the stuff. However, some other people are saying there's more to that picture of Michael and Diddy relating to the death of Michael, and that it never would have been true that Michael was there for freak-off. And this seems accurate because even Diddy said Michael was only there casually to ask for Beyonce.
Mr. Combs, Mr. Michael Jackson is here to see you. I'm like, get out of here. You know what I'm saying? So then I go and I find Mike. I'm like, Mike, what's up? What you doing here? Thanks for coming. I get him a booth. We go to the booth. We start chit-chatting. And so right there, he has his arm. Bring that up so they can see his arm around me. But then you don't see the shot of him whispering in my ear. Right after the shot was taken, he whispers in my ear. He says, where's Beyonce?
Really? Wow. She was at the party.
He came to the party to holler at Beyonce. This was before Jay-Z though, you know what I'm saying?
So we just heard MJ was there for Beyonce. There was even a talk about Michael having a crush on Beyonce, which could obviously be the reason he went there. And for real, based on how Diddy explained his visit to the party, we can tell it wasn't Michael's regular thing to be there, so we can't say he was running stuff with Diddy. And for the scandal about Michael being a PDF, there have been several reports that Michael was innocent, and the accusations were merely attempts to slander and cancel him. I can still remember this was a major setback for Michael. He even had to give a response as to why the accusations were mostly about him being a PDF. He said they were using that against him because he was always around kids, and then he made reference to his religion and how he was thought to love kids.
Whoever humbled yourself like this child is the greatest among me. And he always surrounded himself with children. And that's how I was raised, to believe and to be like that and to imitate that. So I don't know what you're trying to make out of it. I made a list of things. When I get angry enough, I write down what I want to say and what I want to talk about to set the record straight. Because you get to a point where you get tired of people lying. I get tired of situations like this, where people completely lie on me, and I'm sick of it.
And honey, the truth is, there's never been receipts for all the accusations about Michael. So why was he getting those scandals in the first place? Here's it. Based on Diddy's recent arrest and the picture of Michael and Sean that popped up, the internet has been digging, and they're saying Diddy got his hands on the death of Michael Jackson, and also he's the one who used the media to dent Michael's image because he got jealous. And according to the lawsuit filed against Diddy, the people that owned the record company also owned the media publishing business. Listen to some tea this dude got spilling here.
Easily accused of inappropriate things with children. And most of us eventually took that story and were like, okay, that's messed up. Michael Jackson's a bad dude. Without necessarily taking into account the way that the press had been smearing him in really messed up ways for years. And then a bunch of documentaries were made before and after his death, smearing him left, right, and center. But the Diddy lawsuit directly points out and reminds us that the people that own the record companies also own the media publishing businesses that can print the tabloids. They have close relationships with the people that own the newspapers and the magazines that print these stories, that make these movies. That's how they offer record contracts to people and then get them to the top of the charts right away. That is, if they play ball.
And baby, come to think of it, we never got Diddy's accusation, as at that time, despite all the atrocities he had been committing, it was just Michael without any proof though. Now, some peeps have been trying to connect the dots to this whole thing, but here's where it starts to get clearer. If y'all rewind the clock back to when Michael was coming for some people in the industry, particularly the Jews, Michael's business managers restricted him of the amount of cash he could spend. He would always ask his advisors for some cash loans, sometimes worth millions of dollars. And when he did not receive the money, he went all out to blast the Jews. He said they're sucker, they're leeches, and even said it's a conspiracy. The Jews did it on purpose. Of course, Diddy isn't a Jew, but sources have it that the Jews are mostly the ones running the game. And if y'all have been watching closely, Diddy got links to these folks, especially his mentor, the old Jewish music producer who revealed himself as bisexual. But now we're looking at what the streets are saying about Diddy having hands in Michael's death. And here's even the craziest part that got people really thinking through the whole thing. Baby, knowing that Michael Jackson's head of security, Fahim Muhammad, became Diddy's head of security after Michael died is indeed food for thought for the streets. Now, this is the same person that was captured in Lil Rod's lawsuit, that he had the power to make problems and people disappear. He also had connections with law enforcement. P. Diddy instructed his staff to always contact Mr. Muhammad if they're ever pulled over by the police in Miami or California. Child, what it means is that this man knows all about Diddy's dirt, but still kept them a secret. The lawsuit said he has the power to make people disappear. Shouldn't we be asking him about what really happened to Michael? Of course he was interrogated, but nothing was traced to him as of then. But let me tell you, people seem to be looking deep into the whole situation now and bringing up some very specific points that are to be looked into. There's been speculation that even the time he worked with Michael was pretty short for him to be trusted that much. During the time he was being interrogated, he was asked how long he has worked with Michael and what his responsibilities were.
At that point in time, how long had you worked security for Mr. Jackson?
Approximately 10 months.
Okay. And what were your responsibilities?
I was the chief of his security, so my responsibilities ranged from making sure his house was protected, making sure his children were protected, and making sure his day-to-day activities and movement was all safe and planned and mapped out.
Sweetie, the time frame isn't sitting well with a lot of folks right now. The user said, chief of security only 8 months? And this user said, and now we're getting closer to why Michael was put to sleep. Somebody just knew too much. But what do you think? Do you think Diddy has hands in Michael's death? And will the FBI eventually make some findings about this whole thing and show it to us? I'm active in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are.